everybody, welcome to Wild Boy Movies, the place to talk movies, and today we're going to be reviewing Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, the sequel to the 2023 Winnie the Pooh horror movie. Right now I'm going to have some information up on screen for you to read, like director, runtime, and PAA rating. All of that will be up on screen for you to read right now. But be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below your thoughts on Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. But without further ado, let's get right into the pros. Alright, starting off, I gotta go ahead and praise the director, Reese Waterfield, because I thought he did not only a great job in terms of the directing of this movie, but also the use of the budget of this movie, which was reported to be $500,000. And if Damien Leone can make good with a low budget with like the Terrifier movies, then I have no doubt that Reese Waterfield can do the same thing, and he definitely makes use of that budget because the effects in here look pretty good. Like, there are a lot of practical kills in here, and they look pretty good. Some of it is covered with some CGI, but a lot of the kills in here are done with practical effects, and I quite enjoyed that. And I thought Reese Waterfield did a great job as the director as well. I also gotta go ahead and give a lot of praise to Scott Chambers, who plays Christopher Robin in this movie and who will be directing Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. But in terms of him as Christopher Robin, I thought he did a great job. As this guy who's dealing with the aftermath from the events of the first Blood and Honey movie, which has been reworked, and the events that we saw in that first movie is not exactly what happened in this universe, because the first movie is just a movie in the TCU, aka Twisted Childhood universe. But as for Christopher Robin, I thought Scott Chambers did a great job with that character. Like, he is honestly like the best character in this entire movie, and I'm hoping that we see him return in the Blood and Honey 3 that we know is in development, because I thought Scott Chambers did a great job as for the portrayal of Christopher Robin. I also gotta go ahead and praise the tone of this movie because, yeah, this is incredibly dumb. Like, a childhood property like Winnie the Pooh being turned into like a slasher horror movie, that's a dumb idea, but they know it's dumb, and they make it use of that premise to make it fun and entertaining. Like that first 10 minutes of Winnie the Pooh and his friends going after some girls who are in the woods. I thought they perfectly set that tone throughout the entire movie, and they keep through with that tone all throughout the movie, and this is the sort of thing that I am hoping is applied to the other Twisted Childhood universe films like Peter Pan, Bambi, or Pooniverse, where they know the premise that they're tackling is dumb, but they make it fun and entertaining to watch, and Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 successfully does that. I also really like the lore that they went ahead and added on into this movie, because the crossbreeds, aka Winnie and his friends, are essentially like regular human beings that were genetically modified to turn into these childhood characters that we know and love. And that was actually a pretty cool idea that they did in this movie. And I know that they're gonna probably delve more into that with some of the new characters coming in to Blood and Honey 3 with like the rabbit. But I also love how it's set up like the broader Twisted Childhood universe, because not only do the credits tease Peter Pan and Pinocchio, and when Christopher Robin is going through some research, we see an article of a zombie deer virus, and when I saw that I was like, that's a nod to Bambi the Reckoning. Like, we know in that movie, Bambi's gonna be like this zombie deer, and it's pretty cool that they tease the broader Twisted Childhood universe, while also adding in some lore on these Winnie the Pooh characters that make it very interesting to watch. I also gotta go ahead and mention the 3C Films cameo in this movie because as someone who has been watching his channel since the days of It Chapter 2, it was pretty awesome that he made a cameo in this movie, essentially talking about the first Blood and Honey movie, which is essentially a movie in this universe. And yeah, it was pretty cool to see a YouTuber that I really like appear in this movie. Honestly, the biggest pro I can give this movie are Winnie and his friends. Not only do the practical effects and the prosthetics of these characters look so good and miles better than what they looked like in the first Blood and Honey movie, they do a lot of interesting things with these individual characters that I absolutely enjoyed. Pooh in this movie is essentially Michael Myers, where he just stalks his victims and slowly goes after them. Tigger in this movie, who is basically my favorite character out the entire Winnie the Pooh franchise, is basically like Freddy Krueger, just taunting his victims and making jokes. And Tigger might actually be my favorite out of this entire movie, and I'm hoping that Jagged Edge Productions goes ahead and makes a Tigger spin-off movie because the stuff that Tigger did in this movie I think would work very well in his own solo movie. The owl in here is essentially like Leatherface, just sprucing out intelligence, and he has a pretty cool design. And I can't really say much about Piglet because he dies early on in the movie, but he's essentially like Leatherface. And all of them have a clear motive of going after Christopher Robin after he exposed them to all of Ashdown. Like, that's some of the things that I feel like is done better than the first Blood and Honey movie, even though I haven't seen that one, where essentially in that movie, it's just basically like guys in masks, even though it's not supposed to be guys in masks. But for this movie, they've greatly improved on that to not only the prosthetics, but the characterization of some of these slasher Pooh characters, but also giving them a clear motive on why they want to go after Christopher Robin. It's some of the coolest things that they've done, and I think Winnie in this movie has done like the coolest kill out of the entire movie. Like, I'm excited to see these characters make their grand return in Blood and Honey 3 and Poohniverse, and really want to see what they do with the characters next. So overall, I had a good time watching this movie. It was everything that I was hoping it to be, just dumb fun entertainment, and they definitely delivered on that. But there's kind of like some cons to this movie, so let's get into the cons. And really, I only have like one con in the movie, and that is some of the effects, because you can easily tell that some of the effects in here are computer generated. Like Tigger's tail, for example, that is clearly a computer generated object, but I can excuse it just because of its low budget. But yeah, overall, I like this movie and would be one that I definitely would watch again, and I'm very excited to see where they go with this franchise next, especially Poohniverse Monsters Assemble, because that's just a crazy, ridiculous movie that you gotta go ahead and watch. But as for this second movie, I think they are on the right track for this entire Twisted Childhood universe to be just a dumb, fun, entertaining universe to watch. So for my scorecard, I'm gonna give Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 3.5 stars, with the score out of 10 being 7.6 out of 10, with the percentage being 76%, with a grade of C, with my final verdict being a fun childhood turned slasher. But that was my thoughts on Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2. I want to hear from you guys. What are your guys' thoughts on this movie? Go ahead and leave your thoughts down in the comment section. And while you're at it, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. And have a great day.